Come on, man. I know Arsenal fans cry about referee decisions, and we are, as I keep saying, the boys and girls who cry wolves. But come on, this week has shown you, and it's the Premier League shows you that there's dodgy refereeing and there's dodgy decisions being made. That is never a penalty. I do think Kivior could have done better in that regards in the build up to it, and just forget the penalty for a sec. What led to it? I think those are little things and isms and schisms. Miles Lewis-Skelly needs to improve at just a tiny bit defensively. There's, you look at what led to the goal conceded against Fulham, where I think he needed to come off Fatini because he looked shattered, and the build up. That's where if we have Gabriel Magalhaes, that I don't feel that quite happens. Now injuries happen. We all know we need to act and add additional quality to our starting 11. We all know that, we need more depth, and we all know the climate as to why the changes were being made in this game and what we have next week. I'm not going to insult you lot's intelligence. Now, for me, it's never a penalty. But again, whether it's right or wrong, I park that off and let's focus on controlling the controllables. I think sometimes, as I keep saying, in the Premier League, there's 38 games, right? And all that matters is where you finish, where you start and where you finish, right? As we all know, in football, sometimes you're going to win when you don't necessarily deserve to win. You're going to win when you play well. You're going to lose when you play well. You're going to lose when you deserve to lose. You're going to draw a game where you deserve maybe all 3 points or none at all. 9 times out of 10 that is going to happen. But equally, for all of those, you're going to get results that are on brand and what's deserved. And I think that is the case. I think Everton probably thinking maybe if we approach the game differently and that we could have nicked 3 points. Arsenal probably, if we converted our half chances at the beginning of the game, not even half chances is an exaggeration, but we could have won. It's the same old issues. Yes, we made changes. Some players needed minutes. Some players needed to not get any minutes, either from the bench or just rest going into the game at the weekend. There's clearly, you look at this game and you look at the variables that went into it. This has been on brand with our season. We lack that real spark of creativity. We are quite predictable. That being said, though, we did have a couple of breaks. Big up Trossard for scoring. But just before that, there was one where it fell to Trossard and ultimately got tackled. And I was thinking, that's the one guy in the front line you want it to fall to. Can you square it and can you pick someone else out? There was an effort where I think Tarkowski blocked it, but Declan Rice went for the shot. It's easy for me to comment as an armchair expert, but I think Declan Rice has the quality and awareness to just square that. Sterling also had one. Shout out Sterling for getting an assist as well. I don't think Nwaneri was amazing, and I don't think he was terrible. I just think it was like a 6 out of 10 performance, and it's all a learning curve for that young man. But we do lack a bit of creativity. We do lack chance creation and chance conversion. We went to sleep in the build up to the game, and I think Kivior had a better game than need be. I don't think he was man of the match. I think Mikel Merino was probably the one that was the man of the match, if I'm honest with you. And in the 90 minutes, he was the one that I think was quite good. And Saliba as well, to a degree. I wanted a bit more from Jorginho. I don't think he was bad, but when we think of Jorginho, it's dictating the tempo of the game. And he was there, but I wanted him a bit more prevalent. I think Declan Rice I think in the first half, he was good. In the second half, he was kind of topsy-turvy, if I'm honest with you. I wouldn't say we lacked courage, but it did feel like at times players were playing within themselves. Maybe that's them playing within themselves. Maybe that's a lack of fatigue. Big up Lewis-Skelly because the penalty was given. I think he had a decent game, but obviously the narrative is he's given away a penalty, and we all know in his short career, in his 8 months, what is being said about him and how fast life has hit him. And when you see that driving run he did in the second half, I'm here, I think he's going to be a centre midfielder, especially when you drive like that. I think he should be exposed to minutes in midfield. But equally, if left back provides you minutes and you're able to play both positions for club and country, that's the nature of the game now, right? So I'm here for it. I think second half we started very poorly. Likewise, Everton was a house on fire type of thing. And what the minutes that led, the minutes and the sequence which led to the penalty, I don't think we can kind of complain. There was an effort where Martin Odegaard, the ball was squared for him and he kind of kicked it off his left onto his right. We had a couple of chances. Martinelli drew a good save. I did think we was going to go out and get another goal when I saw Martinelli and Saka. And, probably, as we've been saying all week, Saka gets 20, 30 minutes against Fulham, gets 45 against obviously Everton and comes through unscathed. And then obviously probably starts against Real Madrid. Now, I'm sure Everton fans and Arsenal fans love to cry about refs. So I'm not trying to do that. But the ref having a mare, man. There was a couple of overzealous tackles. There was a couple of yellow cards for both teams not being given. I liked the fact, because I'm a bit of a shithouser, but I didn't like the fact that we were surrounding the ref. The game was done. We've been here as an Arsenal fan. Go and say, one love to the fans that have traveled. Get in. Let's just focus on Real Madrid. The league is what it is now. I would say if I was hyper scrutinizing this and not necessarily isolated to today, but as I said, the lack of creation, the drop off with certain players not being there, being able to nick games when you haven't been good enough, being able to manage the minutes of players and having the quality of depth. These are all issues we knew going into this season, and those are all building blocks. Chance conversion, we had 15 shots, about 5 on target, and only 1 goal. I do think we're in this trap of winning games on statistics and not necessarily winning games in general, people. So yeah, man, I mean, we don't travel well to Goodison Park. Arteta, it seems that David Moyes has your number a bit. I guess he was your manager. He's showing you work on. So yeah, man, I think a draw is on brand, really. I don't really think we can complain, if I'm honest with you, in that regards, man. It's all a learning curve. It's frustrating to drop points from a winning position out of context, but again, building to be a team that goes from being good to great and getting over the line. You look at our last 10 results at Goodison Park, we've got 1 win in like the last 5, 6, 3 wins in the last 10. So we don't travel well there, really. And again, Liverpool are running away with the league, but 11 draws. Now, sometimes if you can't win, don't lose. And the one draw I would say for me is somewhat acceptable. Probably would have been the City game. I look at the Brighton game, both Brighton games, which were obviously marred by refereeing decisions, but I still think we could have nicked it. We went 2 goals up against Aston Villa, didn't come away with it. We dropped points from a winning position against Chelsea, and there's a couple of others. Of course, you can't win them all. You're not going to be perfect, but we've got 17 wins. Some of those draws we deserve to draw and probably deserve to even lose. Some of the wins we had, we actually deserve less. This is my point. We need to concentrate on the fine margins. Recruitment is one thing. Mikel Arteta needs to evolve the system because we are quite predictable in that regard. And to be honest, we need more depth and we need more quality, if I'm completely honest with you. 14 shots, apologies, I said 15. 14 shots, 5 on target. Everton had 5 shots, 2 on target. We knew, like every game we step into, it's deep blocks, it's mid blocks, it's low blocks. And I don't think that's disingenuous to Everton. I think that is one thing we struggle with. I think we was a bit better in that regards today. And actually, as it says here, it was a great counter attack for the Trossard goal. If I'm on to shout out Sterling for the assist. So the stats would show you we probably did a bit more to win the game. And if the penalty isn't given, it is 1-0. But again, unfortunately, life like football throws a spanner in the works. I am not forgiving the referees, because they've done us and a lot of teams dirty. But at the same time, if we remove the referees thing, did we do enough to win the game? Good penalty as well, but did we do enough? Do we still feel we could have won the game? I believe so, just like against Wolves, man. And it's been a bit jarring. I would also say the Liverpool draw at the Emirates and what led to it. Ironically, Kivior and Lewis-Skelly were on the pitch, led to it. And that's, again, I don't think Kivior was bad. I don't think Lewis-Skelly was bad, but those fine margins, that's where you need certain players. That's where Gabriel Magalhaes he can still make mistakes, but either wins that header or tells Lewis-Skelly to do certain things. And for Lewis-Skelly, he's not a left back. He's done very well, got capped by the country. But I look at Newcastle in the League Cup. I look at Fulham. I look at today, there's plenty of examples of little isms and schisms that he can improve. He's not going to be the finished article. The man's 18. He's had more good games than bad games, and he weren't bad today. He's been fucking brilliant for us. Same with Wanyeri. Cool, it is what it is in that regards, man. I did want to see Tini on a lot sooner because I think we needed it to be a bit traditional. So yeah, my man of the match would have undoubtedly been Mikel Merino. Literally put his head on the line. Benjamin White, I think he got better as the game went on, and he looked a bit less rusty, but fundamentally he's rusty. I must admit, and I gave Timber a little bit of problems when he came on as well. I think Saliba was good. I don't think there's anything to talk about with Raya. Sterling got an assist, but then, Sterling's doing like 3 good things and 3 bad things, so the struggles continue. Wanyeri had a quiet day, as we all know, people. So it is kind of on brand, man. And Mikel Merino in the first half, most duels, most aerial duels, most possession won. I think he did very well. Very well. He's had a good week, man. I think I'm exaggerating a bit, but isolated to 90 minutes, I think those were the best games he's played in an Arsenal shirt. He's obviously had good moments. I think he was good off the bench at Stamford Bridge. He obviously scored against Liverpool. He obviously nicked the win for us against Leicester. But again, I always say, could you imagine if we were still participating in must-win games in the Premier League and we was coming off the back of an FA Cup week and we just won a League Cup or was in at the minimum in the final, and realistically we could still win the champs? We need a bigger squad because there's certain things Arteta needs to do to evolve this system, but we are a bit out of steam. Not isolated necessarily to today. I just think we're at this. Trossard has now been directly involved in 10 plus goals in each of the last 5 seasons. He's got 10 GA. I think he's got 5 goals. Martinelli's got 6. Merino, give or take, has got 5, 6. Saka the same, and Kai Havertz is up there. Now, again, if you want to be a team that wins that competes for top 4, that's great. But also feel we need someone. Obviously, Saka got injured, but you need to get someone with Saka's numbers, a striker that's getting big numbers. Another left winger that we can bet on. Like, we kind of know it's a guarantee that our first choice front three is doing a lot. Then you've got the Kai Havertz's, the Martinellis, the Trossards, you know, Mikel Merino, if he keeps scoring goals, these lot can chip in and whatnot. So yeah, man, I think there's a lot that we need to do, people, in that regard. This isn't necessarily relevant. So yeah, man. Obviously, I would say for a rotated side, we did a lot better than I thought. I think we competed a lot better than I thought, because I thought it was going to be a lot more scarier than that at Everton, but it is what it is. Everton competed. They had opportunities. I think a draw is on brand, man. Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts.
You always just like,